The worst NBA teams to ever make the playoffs. Starting off with the bubble Trailblazers. In 10 years, when people look back at the bubble, it'll be pretty hard to explain. How many kids turned on the NBA for the first time just to watch Paul George and Kawhi Leonard combine for one of the worst playoff performances of all time? Some random guy with braids got compared to Michael Jordan, and Jamal Murray becoming the greatest basketball player of all time after making a sex tape. But thanks to Disney World, everybody's dreams came true and this horrible team made the playoffs. In Game 2, Carmelo Anthony, who was a starter by the way, went 1 for 6 in 27 minutes, added nothing more than an assist and 3 turnovers. The Blazers had no answer for Anthony Davis and LeBron James and went on to lose the next 3 games by an average of 16 points. Yes, Dame got hurt in Game 4, which further proves how unnecessary this series was. 9 of the 17 players on this team are out of the NBA. This was just 4 years ago. This was an embarrassment to the city of Portland. This is their 3rd first-round exit in 4 years. The 2012-2013 Milwaukee Bucks were a very sad sight to see and honestly not worth spending that much time on. It was led by Monte Ellis, a disappointing guard who had just been kicked out of Golden State the year before to make room for some kid called Stephen Curry to take over. In 6 years as the Warriors' star player, he made just 1 playoff appearance before making it with the Bucks. Unfortunately, they ran into 28-year-old LeBron and the Miami Heat in the first round. They were nothing more than a punching bag for Miami. They lost in a 4-game sweep and not a single game was even close. JJ Redick shot horrible from the field for his standards and Giannis was still in Greece. The 2011 season and playoffs didn't really make any sense at all. The Warriors set the franchise record for threes in the game. Of course it wasn't Stephen Curry or Klay Thompson, it was Darrell Wright, obviously. The championship team was led mostly by players born while Jimmy Carter was still the president, and LeBron James briefly looked like the biggest playoff choker in NBA history. But how could we forget the 2011 Pacers? Rookie Paul George and a full list of players that looked almost like an elite team for this year and this year only. They didn't even win 38 games, and I'm convinced they were only put in the playoffs to give MVP Derrick Rose an easy first round that would sell lots of tickets in Chicago before the actual finale when he'd have to face LeBron James. And I don't want to hear anything about injuries and what ifs. Derrick Rose faced the Heat healthy this year in the playoffs and had Chicago's best playoff run since 1998. That said, they lost in 5. Back to the Pacers though. This was playoff P. The origin. I know he was a rookie, but my goodness, in game 1, 2 points in 23 minutes, he was a starter. This team didn't really shoot the ball. All of their offense came from right under the rim, and they were just no match in any way for the best defense in the league that year, and Derrick Rose had 1 off night in game 4, so they managed to sneak in their only win. But just by looking at this series, Paul George did not look like a future superstar at all. The sheer fear Derrick Rose must have instilled in him after this series caused him to step his game up, and like I mentioned earlier, the rest of this team basically disappeared. But there are plenty of teams that made the playoffs before 2020 without even winning 40 games. More than enough to make a part 2, but let me know what you guys think.